Deutschland.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Listen,
it's a great word.
Todd is very sick. And
You really gotta throw me on blast?
No.
Is it that obvious?
Well, you sound sick. And so he is a trooper and just hanging in there.
So we are in Frankfurt, Germany.
Yeah, so
Cologne.
We started in Jaipur and opened our clue. And how relieved were you when you opened your clue and read fly to Frankfurt, Germany?
I didn't care where it was. I was just happy to leave India. To be honest, I was so done with India. We were there. I think it was a week. We were there a week.
Long time. We were ready to go sure.
It was time to go. And so going to probably my roots, my ancestry roots. I probably have some German in me.
So let's talk about our because I know the show briefly mentioned it, and I don't know why that with the 90 minutes, you would think that they would get a little more into the backstory of each team, which I was hoping that they would. But Todd, we'll tell him our history in Germany.
In Germany? Oh yeah, we lived there for about a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, a year. I played professional basketball in Germany, in Kreuzheim, Germany, which was a little town, maybe, I don't know, 2 hours south of Frankfurt. So yeah, we kind of been in that area. We lived in that area for a while.
It was great.
Yeah.
We loved it.
But remember, keep in mind, that was 10 years ago. Yeah. So things have changed.
I know that we mentioned it in the show, but that's actually where our family started. That's where we conceived our first son.
Yeah, thanks to the German beer. Thank you.
And he came out blonde, so who would have thought? Maybe it was the Hefeweizen.
Interesting. My kid looks more German than I do. Interesting. That's cute.
So stupid.
The milkman.
Open the clue. We get to the airport. We all get our car, and then it's drive to this particular castle, Cobb, right? And
take the ferry. Find the ferry.
So when we were in the airport, we actually asked someone to use their phone, ask for directions. And on the directions, it did say that there was a portion of the road that was closed and we had to take a detour. So, of course, when you're looking at the map, it's very small. But it turns out that this detour, here was the ferry, the Rhine River. This detour had us going up into the mountains of Cobb all the way around to just circle right back here. So when Andrea and Melina, when they showed them,
when they got lost, it's no surprise. We all did. But we were the first one on the ferry. Could you believe it? We were number one at that point, It's pretty crazy.
I was shocked. No, I honestly, when we were driving, so Todd and I were first the entire time, and we thought we were dead last because there was no way where we're going up in the mountains. It felt like we were going away from the river, which we were. And when we showed up to the ferry, which when we stopped to ask for directions, there was a man who said, "Be careful. There's multiple ferries. So you want to make sure that it says Cobb." So thank goodness he mentioned that.
Yeah, behind the scenes information. When we were up in that German forest, Ashlie almost killed us. She almost turned in front of a speeding bus. So we almost got hit and killed. Me and the camera guy and the sound guy, we almost died, people. Listen, you have no idea.
Listen, this is what ends up happening. In the beginning, so our whole plan was I was going to drive, Todd was going to navigate. And so, as you saw, in Germany, I was the one who started out driving.
You can see her starting to drive, yeah. And you see me end the driving.
Towards the end of it. So I thought that I could
turn in front of a speeding bus
get in front.
Going 90 miles an hour.
I hesitated. I probably could have made it in the nick of time and everyone would have been fine. But I hesitated. And so it was to the point where like screeching and the bus was 80 miles an hour. And it was like,
shoom. No, we were, it's a shoom. Like we almost died. And then
so it's the camera guy, the sound guy, Todd, and me. And we're like, and I was all, sorry. And they're like, whew. And then after that, I was like, everyone's like, Todd's driving. So
yeah, so I drove for the rest of the race, people. So yeah, we're not doing that. So so we make it to the ferry. We're the first ones there. Super excited. And then we raced.
What about the bags? Were you shocked to see all the other teams kind of just funnel right into the ferry with us?
I mean, no.
I was all, go figure. They're all here.
No, we're all at the same time.
And then so this episode, we saw a lot of Steve and Ashlie, Chippy.
You're not seeing America is like the personality of Steve. Like, I love Steve. Everyone loves Steve. Right? Please show more Steve, right? Like
also show more Todd dancing.
Right.
Like, let's be real. Like, the amount of times Todd danced during every portion of the race was like non-stop.
Like, it was crazy. I like in this whole race, I was dancing the whole time. Like, they have not shown me once.
They have. I will say, I feel like they haven't really shown our personalities at all.
Like, out of all we had the most fun. Like, for reals, we had fun the whole time.
We did.
Right? And the show's just not portraying that. So just know that there is editing choices that CBS is making that doesn't really show the true us. Anyway, all right, moving on. So we're
on the ferry.
So we get to the ferry. We're first in the ferry. We get first to the castle. It was
a math. It was
what did it say though?
I think it was the teacher was like, "Who's ready for change?" or something along those lines.
Who's ready for change? I end up doing it. It's a math challenge. Now,
thank gosh.
So it's me. It's me, Ashlie, and Garrett, right? And we're all working together, and we're doing the math together.
Did you guys have a conversation before you got up there, or
we're like, hey guys, let's figure this out, together. Let's do it. We're ahead of everybody.
Was Ashlie in that? Because they only showed you and Garrett mentioning.
No, Ashlie, me, Garrett, and Morgan. One thing they didn't show, Morgan was a freaking killer on that. She did it herself. Was in, was out, and like,
so was she not part of that conversation?
She was, but she's like, yeah, and she did it, and she's gone. But like, honestly, no hard fit. Like, she got it. She was a killer.
You, Morgan.
She kept her head down and just went, and it was literally one of those things where you look down, you look up, you're like, where did Morgan go? She's gone.
And so while we were on the other side of the castle waiting for our teammates, it was almost as if we thought, and Lena and I were talking, we thought Morgan might have forgotten like a clue or a bag or something, because she was like up and down almost instantly. So we were like, did she forget something? Like, why is she coming down so early? And then we're like, it's because she got it.
So like,
where the heck is Todd?
As you can see, like me and Garrett are kind of figuring out like, okay, 24 divided by 6. Okay. Oh, it's probably 15, right? Like, I forget the math problem, but it's probably 15. And then Annalie's like, I'll try it, and gets in first. And she's like, oh yeah, Todd, it works. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Like, me and Garrett are the guys who came up with it. Thank you. And so she gets it, and it's just fine. We were working together.
I was not fine. I was like, wait, why is Annalie trying it?
The thing I don't like is the show portrays it. I was like, oh, Todd was told the answer. Like, no, I figured it out.
Do you wish you would have been like, it's 15?
No, because
or do you wish you would have been like, no, let me try because I guessed it?
I wish I was a little more assertive. That like, no, that like I came up with that. Let me go first.
Yeah.
Right. I wish I was like that. But at the same time, the way I learn and the way I like learn in class and the way I teach when I teach my students and the way I teach my basketball players when I'm coaching them, because I'm a teacher and a coach, the way I like teach and the way I learn is like social. Right? People talk about visual learners, like kinesthetic learners, right? Or like verbal, like oral learners. I'm more of a social learner. Like, I like the back and forth, figuring it out together.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we did it. And so,
which makes sense, because when we were in high school together, like Todd would always just talk in class, and
I talk like when I talk about things, like that's how I learn, and like that's how I figure math problems out. We talk about it. We get our clue, and now we're headed off to Cologne, Germany. And now what the thing that doesn't show is the drive from that castle to Cologne took about 2 hours. It was like a 2-hour drive.
Long drive. Right? I think our cameraman fell asleep, but they took a little nap.
Yeah, they took a little nap. Time. It was so long. It was such a long drive. And so once we got in there, it was like, cool, we're in Cologne. Now let's find the parking structure, right? Now, the parking structure, they did not show it. They did not do it justice. That parking structure was insane to find, because it was in a city center.
Your voice sounds cute.
It was a city center, right? And like half of them were like pedestrian only, and the other half roads were like closed down, and it was so hard.
You were going like this in circles. And it was like, oh, our directions, like we would ask people, they're like, yeah, it's right there.
Like literally, like
but we couldn't get there in our car. Like we could get out and walk.
You could walk. Yeah, you could walk there in like 2 minutes. Like you on the map, you look at someone's phone and you go, oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's walk there.
It was so close, but for whatever, all roads were like blocked off or closed.
I think at some point you had to drive on a wrong way on a one way just to get there, and like
it was so hard to find, and I think that's where a lot of people ended up getting backtracked. Was Morgan and Lena.
I mean, we had a hard time finding it, and we got there, what, third?
I thought we were definitely last.
Yeah.
Because we saw nobody. We were having the hardest time finding this place. And then when we were getting out looking for the actual building, they had asked us like, hey, where's the parking structure?
We're like, oh, go this way, that way.
So we were like, yeah, you're going to turn this. And so we ended up telling them where to go for the parking structure. But that was, they didn't do it justice. Everybody got lost trying to find that stupid
parking structure. Yeah.
And it's now we have to go to the chocolate building. And
ride our horse tricycle.
It was like a route marker.
Route marker?
Yeah, it was just like a route marker we had to do. So, okay.
Coolest part of the race.
This, I know, like, I've been listening to some podcast people where they're like, this episode was lame. This was boring. What's up with this carnival? Listen, this carnival was probably every racer's best memory.
Best memory. Because you get in there and there's like no thinking. You literally just hop on a task, throw roses.
It was a party.
While people like are literally like going, yeah, you're here.
It was a party. So when we get there, I saw that I was like, oh shoot, there's only, again, we're thinking we're like dead last. We get, and I see that there's only 2 people in front of us. I saw that Greg and John and Robin and Chelsea had already done it. So I'm like, dude, we're third. This is insane. We throw on that adorable costume, which I wish we could wear it the rest of the race. I wish we could have taken it home. I loved it.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us, yeah.
So Todd immediately, like, Todd was in his element. Like, he said it there, which, again, I wish that they showed more of, like, Todd's enthusiasm and there's our enthusiasm about it. But we walk in, and the energy in the room was just so refreshing because we're coming off of, like, just everything is high stress. We're getting lost, long drives. You think you're in last. And so everything is just intense. So like when you get into that room and it's just a party, people are laughing, music's playing. It was an automatic shift, and it forced you to just be in the moment of this party.
It feels like
it's fantastic.
It feels like, honestly, I don't know, like a little slice of what heaven might feel like when you walk through the pearly gates and everyone's celebrating.
Yeah,
when you get in, you know, like everyone's like, you're so happy. Everyone's so happy and having a good time. And you're just like, you feel so important. You feel so special.
Yeah.
I know I'm not important. I know I'm not special. But at that moment I know they're actors. They were actors. I get it.
They were really good.
They were really good. They made me feel,
I was like,
yeah,
this is all for us. Like, it was just so much fun. And I think Greg or John said it perfectly. It felt like for sure a fever dream. Because you're like, none of this makes sense. Like, why are there people flying in the air? Why am I on a horse? But like a dream that like you would love to dream again.
Yeah, it's an amazing dream.
That was the perfect explanation of it.
And then they gave you this cool little medal right here.
And what the clue did say was that once you returned everything, you had to dance and like blow kisses to the crowd to get your like next clue. So Todd and we went so hard on the dance. Like at one point, like I was twirling like on the floor.
Listen, you guys missed an amazing show.
I feel like our purpose in life, whether it's just you and I, like
it's to entertain, baby.
It's just to make people laugh. Like Todd is so great at it.
We don't take ourselves too seriously.
No,
we're here
and so we went
fun.
So hard on that stage, but they didn't show it. But first of all, this is the like most fantastic medal.
Yes. Love it.
Ever.
And now we're off to the bridge.
Which, they showed... When we lived in Germany, I remember we had gone to Oktoberfest one year. If you haven't done Oktoberfest, make it a priority because that was incredible. But one of the people who lived in Germany, they said, out of all of the places in Germany, Cologne is the most beautiful. And
that's our friend Elise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did Elise say that? Yeah.
Yeah, and we never... had an opportunity to go there. And so when we went, I was like, no wonder.
That place is beautiful, man.
The church, the cathedral, did they call it a cathedral there?
I have no idea.
But the church there was just absolutely stunning, right along the river. So we show up and we have to go to the bridge. I don't remember the name of the clue.
I call it Lockbridge.
Was it some, I don't.
But here's the thing, it's like the people who did the castle can't do the lock bridge. So Ashlie was up.
Okay, so here's the thing. When I saw that bridge, and all of those locks. Number one, I don't know what I'm looking for. Number two, that bridge was huge. It was, like Rob had mentioned, it was extremely intimidating. And I didn't even think to ask people ahead of time for the answer. My goal, the way I thought about it was like, all right, I just need to find this lock because that's going to be the most difficult part of this challenge is locating the lock. I could ask someone once I'm there. But when I ran up, the only person I saw was Robin, and she was, as I was walking this way looking for it, she was running back. I was not expecting Robin to give me the dead answer.
Yeah, at this point we know, like,
I wasn't even expecting her to be like, this is what it looks like. I was just kind of hoping she would give me a clue on what color the lock was or what exactly I'm looking for in terms of the lock.
Good luck with all of that.
And when I saw her, what she said to me, because I said, hey, what am I looking for? And all she said to me was, you need to run a mile that way, which was like, or like a half a mile.
That's not what the show showed.
No, that's not what the show showed. But she told me that I needed to run a mile down the bridge to look for the locks. And I'm thinking like, I'm not running a mile down the bridge. Like, so I didn't know if she was being truthful, honest, or just trying to throw me like off course. But I was like, I called BS on that. I was like, I'm not running a half a mile down this bridge. So then I just was like, all right, whatever. She's not going to help me. Whatever. That's fine. Par for the course. So I just I end up finding the lock, and it was a huge black lock this big with big, like you saw.
Yeah. I think Greg touched on it. He's like, really? That's what it is? That's so obvious.
I was like,
right?
I was looking for something like this big.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, yeah.
And that wasn't the case.
And it's funny because it's like when you see it, you're like, oh, duh. But you weren't the only one. No. Like everyone was looking for the little things, and it's funny. Like Greg thought he found it, and it was like a
what
little.
What are the odds?
Yeah,
Greg, when we watched it with you, we were like, I would have thought the same.
Totally
thing.
Understand, dude. Totally got it.
And the thing that a lot of people like watching from home is completely different than doing the task like in real life.
Dude, it's like anxiety to the plus.
There's so much anxiety, and and if you've watched the show, like Todd said, you're replaying episodes that you've seen from the past where like first place team gets there first and they just can't find it. So like there's just so much going on in your brain. And for me, I was like, I don't want to be the reason why we go home. Like this is all on me. I don't know the oldest Cologne in Cologne. Like, is this common knowledge? Like, are other people? So there's just so many things that you have to like sift through in your brain. So I ended up finding the lock, read the clue, and I was like, oh shoot, I can ask people, hey, do you have a phone? Can you look this up? And just as they gave me the answer, I got it open. I saw Rob had given me a piece of paper, and he wrote on the actual paper, what is the answer? Here's the thing, like, I know there's people online saying like, well, that's patronizing. I was not like in any way trying to patronize. Like, that's not the type of person or people we are. I think for us too, like, yes, we're on a show racing for $1 million, but like even bigger than that, like we have 3 kids where we have constantly instilled in them, like always be willing to help at people. Like,
and that's not even saying for Rob, that's for anyone. Like, you were looking to help. Like, if you need to help people. Like, just that's our nature.
And listen, Rob is like a very capable individual. Like,
he's the best. He's the most talented guy on the show.
If I didn't give him the answer, like he would have figured it out. Like, he did not need a hint from me. He did not need my help. He would have gotten the answer if I would have ran away. So this has nothing to do with like Rob's ability to get an answer. Like, clearly we're in leg 6 or 7 and he's made it this far. Like, he's very capable individual.
I'm glad you helped him.
One of those things where like I knew there was teams behind us. I'm not going to not help him.
That's something we talked about before the show even aired. Like, should you even help him?
Yeah.
And part of me says no. Part of me says yes. Like, should you be yourself or should you not? Like, that's the one thing I'll give credit to Robin and Chelsea. Like, they decided I'm not going to help you, and I'm not going to help you.
Whether you like that or not, I don't care.
I love it. That's respectable. Ugh.
Bigger than the race is what we preach to our children.
And you know what? That was a great teachable moment. Like, that's why I love the Amazing Race, because it's such a teachable moment for our kids.
We can't turn off who we are. Like,
it's just our nature. And like at the end of the day, I'm glad you are who you are.
We're moving on. I got the clue. We see that it is a another detour. So this is the longest leg, but it's another detour, and it was taste or kick. Now let's talk about this, because when we got the details, I specifically said, I don't know darts. I've never played darts. I don't know how it's scored. The last time I kicked a ball, I was 8 years old. Like this, I think we should do mustard. And Todd was all,
hashtag husband fail. Let's go. Let's go, baby.
So Todd was like, so you want to do the kick darts, right? And I'm like, no, I don't think we should. And he's all, so you're saying it's kick darts?
And she's all, I can't do it. I'm like, we're doing kick darts.
So I was like, whatever, fine. Like, if Todd feels confident about something, though, I will default to Todd.
Okay, that was the first time I actually got to see on TV my inability to listen.
Yes.
So we always get in arguments, right? Like marital arguments or whatever. Like, you don't listen. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I listen all the time. Okay, I just saw it on TV. That's what you mean. I don't listen.
I'm gonna replay that like on repeat.
It was bad.
You heard it though, right?
It was bad. I was like, Todd, what the hell?
Did you what did you hear when I was like in that moment?
I literally heard like, Todd, I can't do that. Todd, I can't do that. Todd, I can't do that. And I was like, we're doing it. We're doing it.
But why do you think that was the case?
I think I wanted to do it so bad. I just shut everything off. I thought like maybe I could just overcome it. So it was a bad move by me. And it was a costly one. I feel like we could have got first or maybe second if we didn't.
100%. So when we got you had to physically run past the mustard detour to get to the kickball one. So when we ran past, we saw the brothers and Chelsea and Robin. So we knew that like we were in third. So by the time we got to the kick, what were your thoughts when you saw that big dart and when he said you have to get exactly 66?
Okay, so I thought you had to get like at least 66 because I didn't read it right, like always. And so I was like, we could totally do that. Like whatever Ashlie gets, I could pinpoint it, right? And then I realized we had to get exactly 66. And so like right when I found out we had to get exactly 66, I was like, yeah, this is probably a no for me, dog. Like, was
it the moment that you saw we had to get exactly 66, or was it the moment you saw me kick and you were like, well, we should probably switch?
No, you know what? Like, to be honest, your kick wasn't that much different than Corey's.
Yeah.
Right? So like you guys have the same form. And so like I was like okay, like we can work with it, right? But exactly 66 is just too difficult.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that Corey and Rob got it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that they got it. But yeah. So we tried it like.
Were you nervous? Like were you starting to stress, like, because our ever since we've watched the race, our whole mentality has always been never switch. You stick it out with the detour. So we were breaking our cardinal rule by switching. So what was your thought process in that?
My thought process was like, we're already here. Let's give it one, maybe 2 shots and be out.
We weren't there very long.
I think we tried it like 2 times and then we were out. Like what you saw on the show is like what we tried. And the cool thing is we saw the mustard coming in, so we knew exactly where it was. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like
we had to run.
It's not like, hey, where's the other one? No, like, oh no, let's go here. Let's go to the one that we already saw.
When we got to the mustard, we saw the brothers were gone. So we automatically knew like, all right, well, first place is probably gone. But we saw Chelsea and Robin leave. And so in that moment, I was like, dang it, if we would have done mustard, we would have beat the girls.
Because we absolutely smashed the mustard. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love mustard.
I'm obsessed with mustard.
We love mustard, right?
But here's the thing, though. Like, this wasn't like, hey, eat as much mustard as you can. It was identify mustard by its taste, and then you have to pronunciate in German the name of each mustard that you remember.
So that's the hard part. Yeah, the name, the German name. That was the hard part, is memorizing the German name, because you're like, ooh, this is the garlicky one. What's the name of the garlicky one? I don't know.
Like, I think we did it a total of
twice. Completely, 2 times, then we got it.
Yeah, and I mean that if we would have done that first, we definitely would have came second. We would have beat Robin and Chelsea. We get their clue, and we get this fantastic bratwurst that was like
the most amazing bratwurst you'll ever try in your life. It was delicious. It was amazing.
And what they didn't show was I was in the moment. I love mustard. I love me some brat. If only they had like a side of schnitzel on this. Oh, that would have just been like. Mm-hmm. even better. But as we were running up to the pit stop, I was like scarfing down my bratwurst. So what are your thoughts on Milena and Andrea? How lost that they got in like...
Listen, oh yeah. Okay, so the show showed Milena and Andrea getting lost. Listen, we all got lost, right?
Yeah.
Their big mistake was like they found, like they didn't find the right ferry. Like that was their downfall. If they would have like found the correct ferry, they would have been in it with everybody. Yeah. Right? And
I love that Milena was like, we're first. Have you seen anybody of like another team come this way? And he was like, no, and she was all, we're first. We're in first place. Like when they left, there was literally like sunshine had been taken out of the race.
Like a void out of our life was taken away.
Whenever we would travel, we would like sit with them and joke with them, and they were just like our people. And so
them and Liam and Jeremy, like once they were gone, we're like, who do we got to talk to?
And I kind of feel like
everyone else is all serious.
I feel like once they got eliminated, like the oxygen got sucked out of the room for me because I felt like the closest with them.
Yeah.
Andrea and Milena, we love you. Can't wait to see you in New York. We'll see you soon. But
yeah.
Overall, like Germany will hold a special place in my heart. I don't know. Germany is just like, it means a lot to me.
Deutschland.
I loved it. I loved being there.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thanks to those who care. Thanks to those who don't care.
Thank you guys for watching. I know, we're...
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are mixed about us. Some people just don't like us, and that's okay for them.
But anyone that's haters on us, I don't know why, because it doesn't really show us much on the show anyway. But if it does show us and you don't like it, it's probably just because...
You can kiss my big fat butt, because I don't care.
Off to Slovenia, the land of Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, if you see this, give your boy a holler. You're one of my favorite players in the NBA, right? Let's go. Let's go, baby.
Goodbye.
Bye.